Hey guys, it's Coach Shani back. I hope you enjoyed the first video discussing chapter 13 in the book of Numbers. Now we're going to move on to chapter 14. Okay, so like I said, there's a lot in chapter 14 that I wanted to cover, so I'm going to divide it into two videos. So this video, I am going to cover verses 1 through 4 and then 7 through 11. Alright, so starting with number 1. Alright, so this is talking about, so the end of chapter 13 is when the people, the leaders that were sent out to the promised land, they came back reporting to the Israelites, talking about how it was in the promised land and how these people are like, they're giants and there's no way they could defeat them. So verse 1, then the whole community began weeping aloud, and they cried all night. Their voices rose in a great chorus of protest against Moses and Aaron. If only we had died in Egypt, or even here in the wilderness, they complained. Why is the Lord taking us to this country only to have us die in battle? Okay. And then jumping down to verse 4. Then they plotted among themselves, let's choose a new leader and go back to Egypt. Alright, verse 7 through 11. The land we traveled through and explored is a wonderful land. Okay, so this is Joshua and Caleb, the only two positive people that went to the land. This is them talking. They said to all the people of Israel, the land we traveled through and explored is a wonderful land, and if the Lord is pleased with us, he will bring us safely into that land and give it to us. It is a rich land flowing with milk and honey. Do not rebel against the Lord, and don't be afraid of the people of the land. They are only helpless prey to us. They have no protection, but the Lord is with us. Don't be afraid of them. Verse 10. But the whole community began to talk about stoning Joshua and Caleb. Then the glorious presence of the Lord appeared to all the Israelites at the tabernacle. And the Lord said to Moses, how long will these people treat me with contempt? And we'll get back to that word. How long will these people treat me with contempt? Will they never believe me, even after all the miraculous signs I have done among them? All right. So, these people are off the chain, I promise. So after they came and they heard the negative report, they were just like, woe is me, why did God bring me this far just to send us into a land where the people are just gonna kill us? But God clearly said from chapter 13 that this is the land that he was going to give to the Israelites. And God cannot lie. So I don't know why they thought God was going to send them into that land to be killed by the giants. Okay, so so they were saying, if only we had died in Egypt. If only they would have died in the wilderness, then they wouldn't be facing this. Woe is me. So now they're talking about going back to Egypt. Things are hard in front of me, so I'm just gonna go back to my old ways. I'm gonna go back to what I'm used to. I know it's not God's best, but at least I know those disappointments. I'm used to them now. That's basically what they're saying. They want to go back to Egypt. That's where they were slaves. So they would rather be slaves than go into the land that God is promising them, only because it is not, the land isn't set up in a way that they expected. And aren't we like that? Like, if God is telling us to do something and it isn't what we're used to, then it's like, no thank you. Because of fear, because of doubt, then we just give up. We want to go back to our old ways. We don't want to try. God, we don't want to trust you. Like, this is too hard. So basically that's how they felt. The Lord is yeah, so Joshua and Caleb, they're trying to inspire these people. They're trying to motivate these people to remind them, like, don't you remember everything that God has done for us already? Like, he said this is going to happen, therefore it has to happen, And then after that, they're plotting to stone them. The people who are trying to encourage them, trying to remind them the things that God told them and the things that they experienced together, like they were there. They're trying to stone Joshua and Caleb because of the positive report they're trying to bring to them. People are so funny. Yeah, so back to this word, contempt. So verse 11, it says, as God showed up at the tabernacle, and the Lord said to Moses, how long would these people treat me with contempt? Now, when I first read this, I wasn't really sure what contempt means, so I decided to look it up. Now, looking up the definition of contempt, just that verse alone just broke my heart. Okay, so contempt means the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving scorn. So God is saying, how long would these people think of me as just worthless? He says, will they never believe me, even after all the miraculous signs I have done among them? After everything that God has done for you, do you treat God with contempt? Do you think that God is worthless? I mean, I know people wouldn't really say that, but what does your life say? Like, your actions or your thoughts, You may think that certain situation is too big, it's too hard. And to God, that's saying that you don't believe in him, you don't trust him. God is saying that that you consider him last. When something happens, instead of you running to pray or running to the word to find answers, we'll run to the phone to talk to our best friends, our homegirl, our neighbor, our pastor. And then, if they don't have the answer that you want, it's like, oh yeah, let me go ask God. Why is he the last one that you talk to about your problems or just anything in general? Like, God's not pleased with that. He doesn't like that. God said in his word that he's a very jealous God. He wants to be first in your life. He's supposed to be your first priority. And it is not fair for us to treat him that way, to consider him last, and then when we go before him, expect him to do all these miraculous things and to take us to the next level and to bless us and do all these great things. Like, that relationship that's not a healthy relationship. If you wouldn't want someone to treat you that way, I don't think you should be treating God that way. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. And like I said, like, just be studying these scriptures for yourself. Don't go off of what I say. I want you to read the word for yourself and ask God to reveal things to you. Ask him how you may be treating him with contempt, you know? Because I know after I read this and I read the definition of it, like, I had to take a moment and just repent and just say, God, I'm sorry if I've ever, I know that I have treated him that way, you know? I would go to other people before I go to him. He would be my last resort. And that makes him sad, you know? That would make me sad too. If I say that I love someone and I treat them like they're worthless. So that's it for part 1 for chapter 14. So keep watching for the next video. I love you guys. Bye.